A cloud of uncertainty is hanging over the 2014 staging of the BVI Music Fest, scheduled for May 23rd to the 25th. Executive producer Rodney Skeleton says government has indicated that it will not be funding this year's Music Fest and has given rise to the cloud of doubt hanging over the staging of the event.
Primarily, it's the same challenges that we have as in years past, is getting funding and getting funding early. As you would have noted from the last two events, last 2 years that since I've sat as executive producer, we have had great events. The production has been top-notch, second to none. The challenge that we're facing is promoting and getting the promotions out early. You look at Aruba, and Aruba's lineup is already out. You look at St. Kitts, and St. Kitts' lineup is already out. But again, their funding is majority from the government. The government pretty much underwrites those events. As of November of last year, in meeting with the Premier, Honorable Orlando Smith, he confirmed that the government would not be putting any funds into the music festival this year. We are committed, my team, myself, Neville Smith, Jennifer O'Neill, Neil Klein, we are committed to having this event. We understand the benefit of King Garden Bay, so we're committed to doing it. It may be way scaled back, but we're committed to doing it. You talk to everybody in King Garden Bay, their hotels, rooms are already booked. They don't even know who the artists are, and they're already booked. But again, like I said, in those other countries, the government is underwriting. I've gone back to the Premier and asked to cut what he normally gives in half. And so I'm waiting right now to hear what's going to go on. I know some of the other members of government, they're interested. They really want to see the event being pulled off. But at the end of the day, it comes down to finances and where we stand. We do have some other sponsors on board. I know Digital is going to be there as they normally are. We have a couple of other small sponsors that we're trying to shape up. But in no way, shape, means or form are those sponsorships enough to pull off this event. As I told you guys in other press conferences, the very minimum that this music festival is going to cost is $250,000. And that is a poor man's music festival.
The executive producer of the BVI Music Fest stressed that none of the stakeholders want to have the event moved from its current location in King Garden Bay, simply to make it sustainable. He outlined some of the considerations being taken in response to my question on the matter. What about the hotel operators? What are they saying, the folks who own these establishments in King Garden Bay?
Well, everyone that I've talked to so far, we have a meeting set up with the King Garden Bay community for this week and to try to figure out what options we have. Everybody is saying, their hotel rooms are booked and it would be a travesty if we don't have this event. Let's be realistic. Collecting funds is a challenge in King Garden Bay. It's wide open, it's a beach, there's the dock. Anybody can just pull up to the beach and come there early. Folks live in the area. So for us, one of the challenges is collecting funds. The King Garden Bay community has come up with a plan. I need to see it, how it's going to work, where they're saying that we may fence off the roadside from Quitos all the way down to Mayets. So if you want to come down, you live in King Garden Bay, drive down. But if you want to get to the event and get onto the beach, we'll have like some major entrance points, 2 or 3 entrance points, and that's where you would pay. That way we can kind of better control some of the funding and the revenue. So I'm going to meet with them down there. They don't want to see it move. But the only other way that I can possibly see it happening is something that Mr. Mahoney tried to do or mentioned that he may have had to do in the past, and that's moving the event. I definitely don't want to see the event moved. But if it comes down to a point of me finding personal finance, Neville Smith having to do the same, Jen O'Neill, Neil Klein, we have to protect our personal investment, and we have to make sure that the event is in a place where we can collect. I want to make sure that's clear, I do not want to see the event moved. But these are some of the real challenges that we're facing.
Skeleton says his own research on other music fests throughout the Caribbean has revealed that all other governments provide financial support to keep their event on their annual calendar.
When I was just events marketing manager, I didn't have anything to do with it. Frank Mahoney was the one who was running the event, and I did a report. I went out and I studied several other music festivals within the region as far away as Aruba. All are underwritten by the government, their respective governments. So at this point in the game, none of us here, we're all experiencing financial challenges. We know that the bill collector is always coming around. It's going to be hard for me to find personal finance to try to underwrite this event. So we're going to need the government on board.
Rodney Skeleton, who is also film commissioner and events marketing manager at the BVI Tourist Board, says the territory needs more activities on its events calendar to attract visitors, and stressed the importance of having government's financial support to keep the BVI Music Fest alive.